Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Review. I am David Allen. I'm here to talk about Renegade Game Studios, part three of my series of deep dive into Renegade Game Studios. We're going to talk about Mission Critical today, and there's a little bit of Mission Critical stuff to talk about, but there's been a lot of other cool news. There's going to be a Hasbro Pulse event next Tuesday. I'll probably go live to talk about all that. We got a bunch of cool renders for G.I. Joe Day this past weekend. That was really cool. There has also been some cool new information for uh, Skybound. There's a bunch of cool new stuff coming in, so I will try to compile all that into one episode. There's a couple new Street Fighter figures that just came up for order, so I look forward to ordering those to show you them to go with the rest of my Street Fighters. But we are here to talk about Mission Critical. Now, we started Mission Critical with this huge box set, and there's a lot in this box set. So it's going to take me a little bit to go over it. Now, this is different than the role playing games and different than the deck building game. This is a completely different thing altogether. I'm going to explain a little bit about it to you. I have not played this one that much at all. Again, if there's anybody in the area that would like to come over and play some of these G.I. Joe games, I would love to have you over to do that. Um, at Again, assembly required, they had all the games set up, but I did not play the Mission Critical that much because I was playing the role playing or the deck building games, learning those for the dealt hand setup that they did there. This is the rule book, and it gives you a basic outline of all the different components of this game. And there's a lot. There are a lot of different components. Um, there's all these figurines that come with it, and there's lots of really cool figurines. I'm thinking about getting them painted by a friend of mine, Alex Painter, that paints miniatures. But we'll see. So there's I'm gonna read a bunch of this stuff off. There's Joe figures, there are Cobra soldiers, there are lieutenant figures, there are Nemesis figures, and there are boss figures. And you'll learn as we go along the different cards are designated similarly as well. Um, so there's a little blurb here. I want to read this. It says, the classic G.I. Joe characters are back in action and ready to take on the evil threat of Cobra, the enemy. Cobra Commander's insidious schemes have been joined by some of the world's most notorious villains, including the Baroness, Dr. Mindbender, Major Blood, Copperhead. The elite G.I. Joe team must fight across the globe to thwart their plans. Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. Yo, Joe. So then it goes into some of the other components. So we have character cards, we have combat cards, we have vehicle cards, we have universal deployment cards, we have lieutenant deployment cards, nemesis deployment cards, we have boss deployment cards, we have foot soldier enemy cards, lieutenant enemy cards, nemesis enemy cards, boss enemy cards. We have a power board, we have a battle board, we have 5 location boards, we have 20 energy tokens, 2 bonus vehicle tokens, 12 action tokens, 1 lead hero token, 30 hit tokens, 4 panic tokens, 6 combat dice, 2 Cobra deployment tokens, and 4 location symbol tokens. So that is a lot to learn and figure out for a first time for this game, I will say. So I'm going to try to go through all this and explain it the best that I can within my knowledge. So here's your quick start instructions sheet. Some of this stuff, if it's hard to see, let me know in the comments. Let me get the comments. Um, Oh, yes. Thank you, Sometime Toys. Make sure everybody likes, shares, and subscribes to this channel if you want to see more in-depth videos like this. I will be doing one more in this series after this that's going to cover some oddball games that Renegade has made that are G.I. Joe related, and then that'll be the end of this series. But thank you, Sometime Toys. I appreciate that. Yeah, so not a lot of people cover a lot of this stuff. So that's my whole modus operandi is to cover things that a lot of G.I. Joe channels do not cover, that people can learn about this brand, because there's a lot of cool product out there that don't get the light shined upon it. And I think some of this stuff is really neat. And I think the companies are doing a really good job with it. So I will try to cover some of these oddball things, outside the box products. So I appreciate that you noticed that and spread the word. So this is one of the, let's see, the location boards, and it has a bunch of those tokens on there. The hit tokens, the location symbol tokens, the action tokens, and the panic tokens. So these little triangle ones are the panic tokens. Now these are double, they're on both sides. So let's see, I'm going to put these in here so it'll be easier to keep this organized. And so the next one is another location board. This is another location board, but this one has um, the two Cobra deployment tokens. It has the energy tokens, 20 energy tokens, and it has another location here, like a lab. And if you see what's in that lab, it looks like a hologram of planet Earth in there. And there's all kinds of interesting little tidbits in that lab. Um, so that's that one. And here's another location board. This one has two different locations on it. Has a space location and has a water location. So it has two different locations, and it has a little vehicle token down here. All right, so that's that. So those are the location boards. So then we have the battle boards. So we have this is the the, the battle board, and this is where you put your cards on there, all your different villains, and you can see all the villains that come with this um, assortment. Let's see. And then this is another battle board, and it's the power board. Actually, this is the power board. So there you go. And then you have all these tokens. These are the foot soldier figures. So there's a whole bunch of foot soldier figures, Joes and Cobras. Joes are blue, Cobras are red. All right. So as we go along, you'll see that the tokens increase. And you'll see why I wanted to have my friend paint some of these, because they're really, really cool. So let's see. I'll put that there. So here is all right. So here is the first assortment of cards. Well, actually, no. Let me show you these first. This is the dice. The combat dice. There's 6 of them. They have different symbols on the sides of them. Can't really see. There you go. Different symbols on each side. There you go. So that's the dice. And so then we're going to get into the these are the character cards. So these are the cards where you play a character. So we have Duke, of course. You're going to have Duke. There's Duke. Another obvious Scarlet. We're dealing with mainly the core character hump with this first assortment of good guys. And then there's Snake Eyes. And then here's one that's a little bit outside the box, but I guess you needed some lower tier characters for this. But CoverGirl, depending upon who you ask, CoverGirl might not be a lower tier character, but they've been doing a lot with the character recently. And then Stalker. So there you go. And then there's some vehicle cards. So we have the Flak. We have the MMS. The Mobat. The Ram. The Vamp. Of course, you have to have the Vamp. And then because you have CoverGirl, you have the Wolverine. Right? So those are the first batch of character cards and vehicle cards that comes with this assortment. And then you have a whole assortment of other cards, like I said earlier. I'm not going to get into all this, but look at all these cards that come with this. I'm going to keep it with the main characters, but like I said, you have Nemesis, Boss, Lieutenant, Foot Soldier cards, and deployment cards, and universal deployment cards that are all in here. I can't go into all these because it's too many of them, but I will go into all the character cards. So we have Boss, Cobra Commander. We have Baroness's Nemesis card. And then we have Major Blood is a lieutenant card. Interesting that he's a lieutenant card. And Dr. Mindbender is a lieutenant card. And we have Copperhead, which is an oddball character, but a lieutenant card as well. So those are your first lieutenant cards. Your first Cobras. And then there are numerous figurines that come with this. Let's see. So there's Cobra Commander. So I'm thinking about having my friend paint these. I think they would look really cool painted up. Then there's Major Blood. I don't know if you can get a good look at that Major Blood or not. I'm moving around. Oh, that's a better picture of Major Blood there. And then there's, let's see, Copperhead. They've been doing a lot of Copperhead outside the water moccasin, which is fine, I guess, but I prefer to have vehicle drivers with their vehicles. And this Destro is really elaborate. Look at how cool that Destro looks. With his flowing cape and his whatever that is that he's holding, baton. It's really good. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, that's not Destro, that's Dr. Mindbender. That's why he has that flowing cape and that baton, because um, Destro's not in this set. Now that I think about it. And then there's the Baroness. So yeah, Destro wasn't in this set. That was Dr. Mindbender. Huh, funny. All right. And then you have Snake Eyes. Scarlet. Duke. There's your cover girl. And Stalker. All right, so I think that pretty much covers the very first assortment of this game, the initial game itself. So when you buy some of these things from Renegade Game Studios website, you have the potential of getting bonus materials. So with this particular one, you could get an exclusive vintage packaged Snake Eyes with a Snake Eyes vintage card that has different skills and things like that you can use. So I did so because I like ordering all the exclusive stuff. Um, so it comes with this vintage version of Snake Eyes and a vintage card with different stats on it. And as well as that, uh, you could get the bonus packs. So I believe the bonus pack was bonus pack number 1. And the bonus pack number 1 comes with some other vehicles and stuff that you could use with your first game. So this comes with the HAL, the bonus pack. We should have showed that. Bonus pack number 1 comes with the HAL. So you can see by a lot of the stuff that they're showing, a lot of this is vintage stuff. The Rat Pack, um, the Pack Rats, I should say, not the Rat Pack. That's funny. Uh, um, uh, but yeah, um, they changed the name of this, even though it's called the Bridge Layer in the toys. They must have lost the name or something because it's called the Tossing Cross. Uh, which is weird that they would change it to the Tossing Cross. So they must have lost the name for the Bridge Layer. That's very weird. Then the Sky Striker XP 14F. Then the Killer Whale. The art on these cards are really nice. I like the style of the art. The APC. The Awe Striker. Now that's really cool that they're doing the Awe Striker, or they did the Awe Striker, I should say, because now we're going to be getting a classified size Ostriker, which looks really good. Which I knew we were going to get an Ostriker a while back because it was obvious. They've always done Ostrikers with every single GI Joe line. There's like 100 different Ostrikers that they've made over the decades. And then we have the Slugger, which you don't see a lot of use for the Slugger in the brand. You don't see that pop up that much. And you're going to see with this game that there's no difference uh, than the previous games, where there's a lot of homages, a lot of deep cuts in these that you would never imagine. There's some really good stuff in here. Some of my favorite things pop up in this mission critical that I think people will really like. So we're going to go on to the next one. The next one was the Chaos expansion, Chaos Break expansion. So that's the next one. So most of the ones that I'm showing you, you can pretty much figure out who's in it based on what's on the package. So the first package had the primary lineup of characters that I've been talking about, and now this is assortment based on the package. Can you figure out who's on the package of this? I can open this up. Having a hard time. There. You can see who's on the package of this. Tell me who you think's in this. All right, so let's see. Pull this out of here. We got a assortment of figurines, cards, instructions, just like the previous one. So if you have any questions, anybody in the chat about this, I'll try to explain it better. There's the instructions. Then every one of these comes with a little pamphlet of different Renegade games, games that you can purchase. Little catalog, just like the old catalogs that GI Joe used to have. This comes with catalogs as well. So then we got an assortment of cards. So I'm going to go through some of the vehicle cards first. So these vehicle cards have some of my all-time favorite vehicles in it. And this, so first you get character cards of Beachhead. He was on the package. So that's what I said, people on the package. Now this is one of my all-time favorite Joes, and I love this character. There's a really cool storyline in the comics with this character, and he's connected to one of my all-time favorite outside the box characters that is not a Joe. But this is Ripcord, and if you can see where I'm going with this, and you've been watching a lot of my videos, you know certain characters and certain things that I like, and I talk about them a lot. So here's another vintage toy that comes as a card, and that is the Jump. Now, there's been a lot of talk about possibly getting a Jump to go with Starduster and the Dragonfly and all that stuff to connect that world building. And that's what Hasbro keeps saying they're doing is world building. So maybe we'll get a Jump at some point. They've just got to figure out how to do it, I'm guessing, the logistics and engineering of it. But this also comes with my favorite Joe vehicle. And if you've been watching these videos, you know that I love the Havoc because it has a special spot in my heart from when I was a child. So there you go. And people that know me will know what the story is. I've told the story plenty of times. So then I'm not going to go into all these cards. I'm going to just go into the boss cards primarily because there's too many cards. Again, there's different boss enemy cards, nemesis cards, lieutenant cards, foot soldier cards, deployment, and all that stuff, all these different cards. But I'm going to go into the bosses to show you who we have as bosses. So in this one, we have, of course, if you looked at the package, we have Zartan as a boss. And then we have Zorana as a boss. And then, no, she's a lieutenant, actually. And then Road Pig as a lieutenant. So those are lieutenant cards. And we have one boss card. So you can see that that's obviously a Dreadnought theme with the Dreadnoughts being bosses and lieutenants. So then, of course, For new characters, we get my ripcord. Won't these look really cool all painted up? I think so. And then Beachhead. A friend of mine, Mike Arizari from What's on Joe Mind, he's a huge Beachhead guy. And he loves Beachhead. He's got hundreds of them. And then we have Zartan with his crossbow when he did something bad to the Arashikage. I'm not going to spoil it. Let's see if I can get a better view of this Zartan. You see that? Then Zorana with her cool grass cutting gun. And then Road Pig with his big sledgehammer concrete block. Fun, right? All right, so we're going to move on to the next batch of stuff. There, put that there. All these in here. There. So next, this also had a bonus pack that you could get if you ordered through Renegade Game Studios again. And bonus pack number 2. Now, these are only exclusive to the Renegade Game Studio website when you order. So if you're wondering where some of these vehicles are when you try to order the regular games, you probably won't get them because they're exclusive to the Renegade Games Studio website when you do this. So then you get the Polar Battle Bear. Now, this is one of my all-time favorites. I said it in my last video, the Phantom X19. That looks really cool. And then another one of my all-time favorite vehicles, and I would love to see this as a classified vehicle. I don't know if we will ever get this as a classified vehicle, but it would just be epic. But the Tomahawk. Imagine all the awesome things you could do with a classified size Tomahawk. Whew, boy, that would be something. And then the Law. So those are your 4 vehicles in the bonus pack for that. So then we got the next expansion, Heavy Firepower Expansion. Just by looking at that package, you probably can figure out who the boss in this one is and who some of the cool characters. And a character that's going to come up in this, I'm going to ask you a question about, and it's very interesting. And I'm thinking they probably are going to do a classified figure based on this character because it's ridiculous how often this character is popping up and we haven't gotten a figure yet. But so we got the instructions, of course. Instructions there. So then we got the cards, character, and vehicle cards first. So the character cards that come with this are 3 new character cards. One is Roadblock. 2 is Gung Ho. So we're getting into the second year of characters. We did get Ripcord and Beachhead, so they're spreading these characters out over the different years. And then here's an interesting one, Bomb Strike. Now, Bomb Strike, she appeared in the other games as well. So that must be something that somebody at Renegades likes is Bomb Strike because she's appeared in all the games thus far. The role-playing game, the deck building game, and now Mission Critical. So I'm thinking we're going to get a Bomb Strike figure at some point, classified. Now that they have that interesting buck for the Scarlet and the Quarrel and the Glenda buck maybe they'll cross it over and make a Bomb Strike figure as well. So I would not be surprised because they're always trying to get females into the line. So Bomb Strike seems like an obvious one. But here's some cool new vehicles. Now this is one. This is a homage. You don't see this much that in the brand at all. The Falcon Glider. When's the last time you've seen that used for something? Probably never. And then you have the Dragonfly with our HasLab that we just got. That makes sense that we would get that. And then the Shark. I'm thinking it's obvious we're going to be getting a Shark at some point now that the Ostriker's out of the way. The next big mid-sized G.I. Joe vehicle is the Shark and Deep Six. So we have to be getting that at some point. But we'll just wait and see. Some of this stuff is deductive reasoning when it comes to figure out what's going to be coming and what's not going to be coming. So, so I'm going to go into the next batch of cards, and like I said, there's a whole bunch of different cards here, but I'm only going to go over the 2 boss and lieutenant cards. So you see all these cards that comes with it, all the different cards that are related to all the different characters. So there's lots of them. But our boss card is, of course, based on the package. Cover of this package is Destro, which we had a feeling he was going to be there, right? And then our lieutenant. Now, this is a little bit of a deep dive. You don't see this character pop up that much, but there's been a really cool classified, in fact, figure of this character so far. And our lieutenant is Scrap Iron. And he had a fairly decent part in Arise, Serpentor Arise. All right, so then we have our figurines. Look at this roadblock. Now, this is definitely designed based on the early version of the classified roadblock with that big laser gun that he has there. Look at that. That thing is absolutely incredible, isn't it? That is a really good figure. I like that figure a lot. And then you have Gung Ho, ready for action. And then you have Bomb Strike. So yeah, I'd be willing to bet we're getting a Bomb Strike at some point. And then we're going to have Destro. Now, people that watch a lot of my videos will know that Destro was my very first G.I. Joe figure. And then there's Scrap Iron. Now, Scrap Iron usually has a drone. So that's weird that he has this big like missile launcher or whatever it is that he's got there. Usually has a drone or a rocket launcher or whatever, but yeah, a little bit different for him. So there you go. That was the heavy metal expansion for that. A heavy firepower expansion, excuse me. So let's see. I did not get a bonus for this one. So I didn't get a bonus pack. There is a bonus pack, but I did not get it. So I don't know what the bonus pack for the third bonus was. So, but I did get the next figures was the, oops, I took that off. I should have showed that off first. The Sergeant Slaughter pack was the next pack. And you can guess everything in here is Sergeant Slaughter related. So let's see. We have the instructions. All the instructions. We got that catalog again. And our cards are vehicle and character cards. You could probably figure out who the character and vehicle is without me even showing these, but I'm going to show them anyways. So our character is Sergeant Slaughter. Yay! Right? And then, of course, the vehicle is the Triple T. So those are two obvious ones. And then I don't think there's any boss cards in this. It's just different challenges for Sergeant Slaughter. So he's got a lot of these battle cards. So a lot of battle cards that you can give challenges for Sergeant Slaughter to add to the game. So there you go. So that's that. And then there's the Sergeant Slaughter minifigure. And he's a different color. He's like a beige. Sergeant Slaughter ready to fight with his fisticuffs there. Looks really cool. So that was cool that they did a Sergeant Slaughter one of this. There's rumors that we're going to be getting another Sergeant Slaughter item. We've gotten several items over the years, but there's a rumor there's another Sergeant Slaughter possible thing coming, maybe in Larry Hama's comics. He alluded to it in an earlier video that I did with Larry Hama, that we might be seeing Sergeant Slaughter return in the comics. So let's see how that turns out. So then the last expansion that I have is the Cobra Ascendant expansion. And you can see who's on the artwork of that and pretty much figure out who's going to be included in this assortment. One of my all-time favorite factions is included with this. So then we get the instructions again, catalog again, the characters and vehicle cards. So let's see. So the character cards in this one are rock and roll. Rock and roll, baby. And we're getting a second vintage rock and roll that looks really cool. Bazooka. Seems like there's a lot of heavy artillery figures in a lot of these. And then now here's a deep dive. Not a lot of people are aware of this vehicle because it was in the I would say the new sculpt era going into the 25th anniversary and a little bit of Sigma 6, but it's called the Quick Strike. Comment in the comments if you know where this vehicle appeared. That is a very deep dive on that one, deep cut on that one. And then we have another deep cut, but because of Bazooka, I figured we would eventually get this because he's always on the package of the LCV Recon sled. Now that's another vehicle that you don't see used that much. But like I said, these games at Renegade, they are going into some deep cuts. So then for the characters, we have lots of cards again, different challenges and stuff. But I'm only going to go into the boss and nemesis cards. So the boss cards are usually major villains, and then so are the Nemesis cards. So the Nemesis, my favorite characters of G.I. Joe, all of G.I. Joe, Tomax and Saymat, the Crimson Twins. I won't go into all the reasons why I love Tomax and Saymat, but they are twins, and I'm a twin. And then our boss card is Serpentor. If you were wondering where Serpentor was, finally they've reached Serpentor. Since we have Sergeant Slaughter, we have to have Serpentor. So we've gotten through most of the boss characters and nemesis characters of Cobra thus far. I'm not sure where they're going to be going next with this, but it'll be interesting to see what new boss characters they incorporate. So here we go. Here is Serpentor. Arise, Serpentor, arise. That looks really cool, doesn't it? And now, even if you didn't use these for the game and you just use them for uh, figurines, collectible figurines, like they did back in the day, the little mini pewter figures that came with the figures in the 80s, you could do the same thing. Just if you're really good at painting and stuff like that, and you could paint these up to look really cool. That was Tomax and Samat, and then Rock and Roll and uh, Bazooka. Oh, right. So let's. That was that expansion. Cobra's Ascendant expansion. And so this one did come with a bonus pack that I ordered. I didn't, for some reason, I missed the third bonus pack, but I ordered this bonus pack. So um, this has some really cool cards as well. The Defiant vehicles. Oh yeah, here's the package for that. The bonus pack 3 or 4 actually. I need to find the bonus pack 3 now to see what came with that. Skystorm. Now you don't see a lot of those pop up. Skystorm. The mobile battle bunker. Now that's a much chunkier vehicle. If you don't have one of these, you'll be surprised if you get a vintage one. It's actually quite chunky, much bigger than I would have guessed based on just the artwork and seeing it in the comics. It's a pretty big vehicle. And now here's a really deep cut. When do we ever see the Crossfire? Wouldn't that be cool to get another classified series Crossfire? They did the Vamp Mark II as a remote control vehicle not too long ago. I did a vehicle years ago on that. Maybe I'll do that again and compare it to my Vamp and Stingers. But it's very, very similar in size to those. But it's RC remote control Mark II Vamp. So that is all of Mission Critical that I have. Might be missing maybe one more expansion that I have yet to get. So when I get that, I'll show it off in one of my other videos because I do show off new product that I get and acquire. So like we said earlier, sometime Toys asked you guys to like, subscribe, and share these videos if you're interested in these deep dives. I have some cool new interviews lined up coming down. I will be covering another part 4 of this video, and I will be doing a little bit of a video next week when we get all the new uh, info from Hasbro Pulse's event on the 18th, which is Tuesday. I got to see Emily at MegaCon this past weekend, and they revealed a whole bunch of cool Transformer stuff, and the HasLab Leo Blazer, Leo Kaiser HasLab combiner, which looks really, really cool. And that was fun to talk to her and look at all that at MegaCon. And so, another awesome thing I'll show off later is I got to see Judd Nelson at MegaCon this year. And if anybody is familiar with Judd Nelson, he's big into the Transformers world. He played Hot Rod in the 1986 Transformer live action animated feature film. And I love that movie. I love that music. It's just one of my favorites. So I've been trying to meet all the actors from Transformers, the movie. Unfortunately, some of them have passed, but I'm still working on getting the ones that are still with us. I guess that does it for this episode, and we will talk to you next time. Yo, Joe.